You might not have a psychology degree. You probably did not even study microexpressions in some online course. But when you know, you know. Emotional intelligence, often called EQ, is its own beast. EQ is basically pattern recognition for the subtext, the stuff happening beneath what's happening. So let's get into the depth of this, because you deserve to understand what's actually going on in your brain. Think about regular intelligence, IQ. That's your ability to solve technical problems and figure out how logical things work. Someone with high IQ can look at a complex math equation and break it down into simple solutions, or learn a new skill by analyzing its components. EQ works exactly the same way, just with different material. Instead of solving equations, you're solving people. Instead of analyzing data patterns, you're analyzing emotional patterns. And instead of understanding how machines work, you're understanding how humans work. Both are forms of intelligence. The difference is just the subject matter. Here's what's cool. These two intelligences run on separate tracks. You can be brilliant at chess and terrible at reading a room. You can ace every test in school and completely miss that your friend is going through a crisis. Or you can be average at academics, but walk into any social situation and immediately understand the power dynamics, who likes who, who's faking it, and what everyone actually wants. Psychologists have this concept called theory of mind, basically the ability to understand that other people have thoughts, feelings, and perspectives different from your own. Most humans develop this around age 4, which is why 3-year-olds are such spectacular narcissists. This is what you did differently. You, for whatever reason, developed an advanced theory of mind. You're not only aware that others have different internal experiences, you're actively modeling what those experiences might be in real time, often without thinking about it. You're running multiple simulations of other people's emotional states simultaneously, cross-referencing behaviors with context, updating your models as new information comes in. The things that seem blindingly obvious to you genuinely don't register for a lot of people. And it's because their brains literally aren't wired to prioritize the same information. Human brains have limited bandwidth. We can't pay attention to everything, so we develop filters for what matters. Some people's brains flag factual accuracy as primary. Others prioritize logical consistency. Others track social hierarchies and power dynamics. Your brain is flagging emotional data as priority 1. When you walk into that meeting room, you're not actively thinking, let me analyze everyone's emotional state. Your brain is just serving you that information, the way other people's brains serve them information about whether an argument is logically sound or whether someone's credentials are impressive. This is key to understanding. They're missing it because their cognitive resources are allocated elsewhere. Their brain is running a different operating system, and emotional subtext just isn't a default widget on their dashboard. There's this condition called alexithymia, difficulty at identifying and describing emotions. About 10% of people have it to a clinical degree, but lots more people exist on a spectrum of emotional awareness that would honestly shock you. These folks literally cannot easily differentiate between feeling anxious, feeling angry, and feeling excited. It all just registers as activated, or something's happening in my body. They're not being obtuse when they can't tell you how they feel. They genuinely don't know. The internal landscape you navigate with relative ease is, for them, like trying to identify specific instruments in an orchestra when you've never studied music. One of the strangest parts of high EQ is that you exist in two realities at once. The official one that everyone agrees on, and the emotional one that you can see but isn't acknowledged. Someone asks, "Does anyone have concerns about this plan?" And everyone stays quiet, and you absolutely know, that at least 3 people in this room have serious concerns, but aren't voicing them. You can feel the weight of their unspoken objections. The meeting continues as though consensus has been reached, but you're sitting there aware that nothing has actually been resolved, just postponed. This is crazy making sometimes. You want to shout, "Can we talk about what's actually happening here?" But the official reality is, nothing's wrong, so you sound paranoid or like you're creating drama. Let's be honest about the costs here, because they're real. You probably overthink things. When someone's behavior shifts even slightly, you notice, and then you're running 6 different scenarios about what it might mean. Most of the time it means nothing, or has nothing to do with you, but your brain doesn't easily accept that. You might struggle to take things at face value. When someone says something straightforward, you're automatically scanning for subtext. Sometimes a simple "I can't make it" really does just mean "I can't make it." Not "I'm avoiding you because I'm angry about that thing from 3 weeks ago." You're probably exhausted by group social situations, which you might think is some type of introversion, but the actual reason might be that you're processing so much invisible data. It's like watching a movie where you can see the boom mics and lighting equipment, and you're trying to track the plot, while also cataloging all the production choices. And here's the big one. You might feel responsible for managing other people's emotions. Because you can see when someone's uncomfortable or hurt or anxious, there's this pull to fix it, smooth it over, make it better. This is how you end up being everyone's emotional support human, while your own needs get backburnered. Let's clear something up. High EQ gets confused with being sensitive or emotional, and that's not quite right. Some emotionally intelligent people are also highly sensitive, but they're not the same thing. You can be emotionally intelligent and absolutely ruthless. You can read someone perfectly and use that information manipulatively. You can understand exactly why someone's upset and simply not care. The EQ is the perception and understanding. What you do with that information is a separate question about your own values and character. In fact, some of the most effective leaders, negotiators, and yes, con artists, have high EQ precisely because they can read rooms and individuals with precision. The emotional intelligence itself is neutral. It's a tool. Whether it's used for connection or manipulation depends entirely on the person wielding it. The modern world is complicated. Everything is networked, everything affects everything else, and simple solutions rarely work because humans are involved. Your ability to hold multiple perspectives simultaneously, to see how this person's needs conflict with that person's priorities, makes you unusually good at finding solutions in messy situations. You probably notice when things are about to go wrong before they actually do. That relationship that everyone said was fine? You saw the cracks forming 6 months before the breakup. That workplace tension everyone insisted wasn't a big deal? You knew it would eventually explode. So much of life is subtext. Politics, business, social dynamics, they all operate on multiple levels simultaneously. Understanding both the official narrative and the emotional/political reality underneath gives you a significant advantage. You're playing 3-dimensional chess, while half the people around you are still figuring out checkers. You're navigating the world with an extra sense, essentially. Like having echolocation in a world where most people just use their eyes. It's isolating sometimes, being aware of things others don't see. But it's also a kind of gift to yourself and to the people who benefit from being truly seen by you. You're also really hard to lie to, which is useful. Look, the world is full of people stumbling around, not really understanding each other, talking past each other, hurting each other accidentally because they just don't see what's happening beneath the surface. You see it. That's your thing. Nobody will give you Nobel Prize for having high EQ, so you have to hug yourself. Sooner or later, people will understand your vision. But before that, hang on.